Shalom, second try here. YouTube decided it didn't like that the first go, so we're going to try again. So as many of you know, I've been in Mexico City here for about a week. And I've been doing the best that I've been able to help the poor. Mostly homeless children. Homeless is kind of not a strong enough word. They're completely forsaken and abandoned children. No social network, no social services, no family, no place to live, not knowing where their meals are coming from day to day, and in many days not getting meals, depending on how good their search in the garbage goes. So I've been preparing myself since I came down here for today. I went down to the landfill, to what the local people call the garbage people. They live in the landfill. They eat out of the landfill. They build their houses out of the landfill. They clothe out of the landfill. They live out of this landfill. Mexico City is a city with 22 million people. And I didn't measure it by air, but the landfill is probably larger than my town that I live in. I have never seen so much garbage and only saw a small portion of it. But I went today, and I had been preparing myself because I thought that was going to be the most difficult thing emotionally that I was going to face while I was here. Hey, Jackie Beard. But in fact, it wasn't the most difficult thing for me. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the landfill people, I got out, the garbage people, we got out there fairly early. And some of them were, it was like a little village, almost like a little like Jamestown colony style village. You got people out there crafting and making stuff and repairing things. And met a Eduardo guy is his name, and he makes shoes from old shoes, pieces of cloth, leather, and I almost got me a pair of shoes, but he said it would take about 2 days, so I don't think I'll be going back to the landfill, but the shoes looked amazing. But anyway, I was prepared for, bad, and by no means is it great. Again, some of them go through the trash looking for bits of metal so they can trade the metal. Most of them spend their day going through the trash looking for good food. And by good food, it's in a trash bag that took 3 to 5 days to get to that landfill. And so there you go. They're good food. A lot of families. The little area that we visited is not in the new trash area. That's a very unsafe area. There's a lot of squabbling and fighting going over who's going to go through the trash first. And it's not safe for the vulnerable, people with families, children, unattended children, which there's a great number of, and the elderly. And so this area was probably a good 5-minute walk from the new trash area. The smell, I don't even have words to explain to you what the smell of that place was. I was advised ahead of time to bring a face mask, which I did, and to bring some vapor rub, which I did. I did not wear the face mask. The people that live in there weren't wearing a face mask. And I didn't want to be insulting to them. The translator that went, it told me when we got off the metro that they would not be translating anymore for me. That was it. They were done. That was disgusting. But they wore their face mask. These people have it bad. They have it hard in the landfill. But just my personal observation, if I had to myself live in the streets of Mexico City, under the bridges, in the alleys, in the sewer, if my family had to be homeless with me here in Mexico City, under the bridge, in the sewer, whatever, I would rather be one of the garbage people. The garbage people, the group that we dealt with today. Of course, there's no police, there's no law, there's no nothing, there's no justice there. It's whatever. And this group of, I think there was about 10 men. There was about 40 children and about 15 women. Some of them were related, most of them were not. The ones that were related were, I think there was one or two mom, dad, child groups, and two or three mom, child groups. Everybody else, just came together in the landfill. These people had it looked to me to be some sort of plastic container, large 200-300 gallon, something that got thrown away at some point that was busted. And they would go out in shifts, some people watching the camp, and they would go out and they would get stuff. And if they found stuff, they would come rushing it back to this bin where they would show it to everybody that was there and put it in the communal bin, whatever it was. Today, I helped for a while, about an hour, looking through the trash. I'm not very good at it, I'm told, but we were looking for some socks, or a sock, actually, which I thought was kind of hard. But anyway, we were looking for a sock and some other things like that. And always looking for bottles, plastic bottles. The landfill, all the stuff goes in the landfill, but there's some company that comes around once a week. And if you have a plastic bottle with a cap that is in good shape, they'll pay you a peso for that bottle. So if you find 20 plastic bottles, you have $1, US dollar. If you find 5 plastic bottles, then you have enough money to buy, a few tacos. The people that come out and buy the bottles, from the best, and I may be a little inaccurate here, but from the best I could tell, they don't actually pay you in money. They have a little company truck. The pickup truck has stuff on it. It'll have some food, and so they bring it to you in charge. These landfill people have a really hard time coming into the city. Number one, it's a great expense. And number two, if they leave, all of the stuff is instantly gone. So they always have to be at home in the landfill. And if they leave, all their stuff is gone. And if they come in the city, they're more likely going to be arrested because, as you can imagine, they live in the landfill, dress at the landfill, eat at the landfill. They smell like the landfill. And the authorities don't do that. But what really shocked me was, again, I was expecting this to be, a really crushing thing emotionally. But these people were very encouraging. They shared. Dear Father in heaven only knows what I had for brunch. It was not pork, I was told. It didn't look like pork. It looked like guacamole and pieces of tortilla. I watched them fix it. A lot of fruit. They had an interesting fruit drink, which I'm going to assume had an alcoholic property, but I don't know. I did drink, a glass of it, half a glass. And basically what they do is they take all the fruit, which is, they find a lot of that, and they put it in containers with water, and they let it sit out in the sun. And then after it sets XYZ amount of time, voila, you have whatever it is. So with that said, the garbage people, we did mission success on the men that were there working well. Men, let me back that up, because I certainly would misunderstood what I just said if I hadn't been to Mexico City for the past week. When I say a man looking to work, I'm talking about a 8 to 9 year old or older boy up to age in the grave. A lot of these young boys, they want to work, they want a job, they don't want to be hungry, they don't want to sleep under a bridge, They're not begging, for someone to give them X, Y, and Z. What they want is someone to give them a chance to work. So knew that before we came, and we brought some funds, and two local construction companies. Construction, they build and repair stuff. We wouldn't call them a construction company back home in the States. We call them like a handyman type place, probably. But anyway, they build and repair and fix stuff. And the foreman there, Miguel, he's a very nice guy. And so he puts these people to work, and him and his wife help them get out of the landfill after they prove that they want to work. So the majority of all the men that had families there today came back by metro with us in the town, met with him, and he has been given money for their tokens so that they can go back and forth to work until they get their first paycheck. They have agreed and signed paperwork to such, not that I could tell you what it said, but what I was told it was said was that he's going to hold 75% of their pay at the end of each week to pay their deposit on their apartment, which he did send me by the apartments to look at those. They're not awesome, but they're a lot better than the landfill. And then after 2 weeks, the deposit will be there, and he and his wife will then cover the rent and take the rent out of the next two paychecks. And so, if these men show up to work in the next month, they'll be out, they'll be out of landfill, and they'll be in Mexico City, and they'll have a job. And the foreman supervisor explained to me very carefully that, hey, it ain't a great job. But let me tell you, after spending a week here, it's a pretty good job. Number one, it pays you real money. Puts money in your hand. That's not common. In the lowest bracket, the lowest tier of social ladder here, people don't get paid in dollars. They get paid. You work for 2 hours, and I run this restaurant. I'll feed you. Or I run this convenience store, and you can get a drink and 2 items or whatever. So they'll actually get paid money. And so that's good. And so I was expecting to be really down coming back from the landfill and meeting my new friends, the garbage people. But in fact, I'm kind of encouraged. They show a love for one another. They had a little church built in the landfill, which I thought was pretty interesting. And no one will come and preach to them there. They did say that some people come every once in a while and lecture them about Jesus, but no one comes and helps them sort through the garbage, which is what I did today. No one comes with them and helps them put up a wall, which I guess I helped them. According to them, I did. What we did was there was some things that were thrown away that looked like slat boards, maybe, from a floor or a plaster ceiling at some point. Anyway, we stuck those up, and they braced them up there with twine and made like what I would call a Huckleberry Finn raft. And that was one wall, and they stood that wall up where a lower quality wall had been before. I think the other wall was made out of bottles, and they had punched holes through the bottles and had them strung or twined together some kind of way. But they fall in. But anyway, very encouraged by these people. According to the ones I talked to today, there's 4 types of people there. The one type is the kind of the folks I was talking to today. They got there because of various misfortune, and there's no way to get out. No one will help them, and you can't get out by yourself. But they want to get out diligently. And praise Yah, some of them are getting out. They go to work tomorrow. When I'm out tomorrow, I'm going to go by their job and make sure they're there. And I've already asked the supervisor what time they could take lunch, and I'm going to take them to lunch. But the other type of people, one type is the people that want to get out of there. They're there. They want to get out of there. One type of people, they're so drug addict. They have mental illness. they're just not mentally in a place that they know where they are, so they're not going anywhere. The third type of people are illegals, folks who, for whatever reason, come from South America, further south than here, and if they get caught, they get toasted. So Mexico is extremely harsh on illegal immigrants. So they were on their way north. Whatever happened, they get stuck, and they can't risk getting caught again because they've already been caught in many cases. If you get caught again, then it's pretty serious prison. The consequences are very serious. So, and the fourth group of people are the very old, which are not very many, and the very young children. The young children not in that area that I was working with today, very much lower to the flies. I did try with the translator and one of the ladies that sometimes gives them food to go out and engage. I'm going to say there was probably something like 40 or 50 of them. And they ranged from probably 5 years old to mid-teens. And they are afraid of everybody. They don't mess with anybody. They stay away from everybody. And according to the lady that stayed there, if I really wanted to talk to them and see them up close, all I would have to do was walk out there by myself, and they would come find me and relieve me of the nothing that I had with me. I took no passport, no money, no phone, nothing, just myself today, under advisement from the person that goes out there from time to time. And so, there's not a lot I can do. There's not a lot you can do. There's not a lot any of us can do. There's nothing that the government of Mexico apparently is going to do, wants to do, to help those that are mentally inept, incapable, handicapped to leave. And there's nothing we can do to help those that, I don't know what word to use, have went feral, have just give up on society and created their own little tribes for whatever reason. And so there's nothing we can do about that. But what we can do, what we did do, what I did, and what many of my friends have joined me in, is we helped those that wanted to get out, and we gave them an opportunity. We gave them a doorway to make that happen. And if it were me, if again it was me that was homeless with my family, I would 1,000 times prefer to be in that landfill than any of these streets that are up and down this city that I've been up and down the past week. In fact, I'm going out in about an hour to check on 3 boys that are about 10. Again, here, when you get put out, you're dropped off at age 4. You don't know how old you are. So these boys don't know, when you ask them, I've got several that speak some English, and I had a translator yesterday when I was talking with them, how old they are. That's a funny question to them. And they always answer back with, I choose to be, or I decided to be 10. I decided to be 12. And so when I had a translator, I'm like, oh, why are they using those words? And of course they ask, and it comes back, well, they don't know how old they are. They have no idea. So because they're taller than this person, their little friend, and their little friend has decided he's 9 and they're taller, they must be 10. Or if they want to be in charge, then they must be 11 because 11s are in charge of 10s. But I'm going to go check on a couple of those young fellows that are working and get ready to go have lunch with my crew of about 10 to 15 at dinner time. Mexico City, wow. Yeah, there's problems that are well beyond what we can address. Let me tell you that one of those problems, the most disgusting and disturbing thing I saw, and I'm not going to talk about it a lot, but I will just give you the basic information. Just so you know. So when you think about, when you're praying and your prayers and your thoughts for people that are in need, one of the young boys that I helped out and got him a job sweeping and cleaning up trash, he desperately wanted me to go find his sister. He told told me his sister was about 12 and where she was at. Translator didn't know any better. I didn't either. So we go to where 3 further blocks, which here is a good travel, but 3 blocks. And we come to this street that, it's not the official name of it, but through the translator, we find out it's called the Avenue of Virgins. And these disgusting, vile, wicked, grown men. I saw policemen. I saw people in business suits, cab drivers. Saw it all, saw them all. These little girls are on this street, and I'll leave you to decide what happens from there. And it's that or starve. No one to help or care. The boys, I did not talk with them very much yesterday because they were quite reclusive. But the rat kids, the ones that live in the sewer, I can't even begin to tell you the horror that they live through every day. The group of young men that I met when I first got here, first day, and have been blessed to eat dinner with them each day. I thought they had it bad. They live, there's a metro, and behind the metro there's a bridge, and on the metro bridge there's an abandoned lot full of trash, and there's a little gap about this wide where the authorities have bolted the fence up, but the fence, I guess a car hit it at some point and bent it out. And so a very small person can squeeze in there, and you really can't see in that abandoned lot because it's growed up, and it's not very big. It's probably 25, 30 foot square. But that's where they live. And I thought, wow, that's horrible. Again, prior to me coming to Mexico City, that was horrible. Now that I'm in Mexico City, that's, they're not getting sexually abused. They're not getting trafficked. They're not having to do horrible, terrible things. They're not out stealing. This particular group of boys that I first met, they go out and they beg. I don't mean beg in the North Carolina, United States, we'll work for food, help me, I'm down on my luck. I mean, they go and ask the business owner, can I please go through your trash before you tie it up? And they have their little bags and they, take food and they put it in there. When I've tried to give these boys a few pesos, so they have a few pesos if they need a drink or if they need some food or whatever, they won't take it. And so, why won't you take it? Well, because if we have something, then someone's going to steal it from us. And I was like, oh, you mean like other kids? They're like, no, the Policiende. The Policiende is their biggest threat. And then number 2 is older, homeless, other predators, older people. This particular young group, they don't have that problem because they live in a place you can't get to if you weigh more than apparently about 85, 90 pounds. Matter of fact, the restaurant owner made an arrangement with a place called Polo Kilo. And he told me that if I keep feeding them, I'm going to have to buy them a place to live, find them a place to live. And I was like, why is that? He's like, because they're going to get fat and they're going to fit in their house because he knows where they live. And matter of fact, he's the one that said, hey, do not take a picture of their house and do not name the metro station. Because if you do, the authorities will see it online and they will go and arrest these boys, jail them, send them out of the country if they can't prove they're from Mexico, whatever it is they do. They'll bust these boys up and it doesn't help them. Whatever it is, it's not help. And so, long story short, I've been very encouraged today. The landfill people really, it's going to sound weird. They really showed the love of our Father. They showed the love of the Messiah, one for another. And they didn't even know it. They didn't do it in a preachy kind of, we're a religious community sort of thing. And even with the translator, I didn't ask him, pointed questions on faith. But I did ask questions that gave me glimpses. And they help one another because it is the good thing to do. They look out for one another because that's what we're supposed to. That's what we were put here for in the landfill. Is what they told me. They were put there together in the landfill to look after one another. Now, for those of you that study the Father's word, I'm not sure if that hit you with the weight that it hit me when I was there. Love thee one another as I have loved you. Bear ye one another's burdens. Boy, it lit me up. They were preaching from a Bible they didn't have, and from a Bible they couldn't read. They were preaching from the law that was written on their heart. And they were not preaching it in words, they were preaching it in action. Hallelujah. Fruit. Landfill, rotten, nasty, dirty, good fruit. Hallelujah. All right. So I'm going to end this video. I hope y'all are blessed. Another message. Anybody that's interested, I am here until Thursday afternoon. We do have PayPal, if you would, and I will certainly convert your PayPal dollars into pesos and convert that into food or boots or brooms or whatever else will have the longest lasting impact and effect on young people's lives. I'm not sure if I posted this before, but one of the gentlemen we fed on earlier in the week, he perished. And so I went back to check. Somebody had told me about that, and I went and checked on that. And that happens a lot. And so pray for the folks down here struggling. Pray for the ones, pray without ceasing. These problems are a lot bigger than you and I. These problems, the poor will be with us forever. But we can make a difference. We have made a difference. And my own standard of is my trip worth it? Has my trip been worth it? Is 10,000 times yes. Because I have long-term impacted in a positive way towards self-sustainability and a restoration of humanity for dozens of people. One would have been sufficient for me. None would have been okay if I did my best, but I got more than did my best. I got more than one, dozens and dozens. And so with that, I'm going to